Ready? Judges are ready? Judges ready? Okay.
When it feels good enough.
Okay. Azar, you ready?
Sure.
Okay, camera, let's roll it. Start.
Today I will be presenting my research study which focused on the effects of stereotype threats on female math performance. But before I do this, I'd like to talk to you about my inspiration for the study. Now, my favorite subject in school has always been mathematics, so I always knew that I wanted to conduct a study in this domain. But what is a problem that faces mathematics students or the field of mathematics in general? Well, after going through my review of the literature, reading over 20 studies, I found that one of the main problems is that there's a lack of female students in the STEM work field. But why is this important? Well, as our society's technology is being developed, we need as many people as possible in order to actually innovate and maintain that technology. If there is a lack of females, then we have a lack of enough people who are able to actually innovate new technology. Therefore, our society, which is dependent on technology, would eventually crumble if there aren't enough people to support and develop new technology. But why did I choose stereotype threats? Well, again, reading several studies such as those listed here, I noticed that stereotype threats are one of the main factors that influence female performance in math. For example, Ellis et al. Found that women, as a result of stereotype threats, are more likely than men to drop out of classes in the STEM fields. They would be more likely to leave higher level mathematics classes such as Calculus 1 and Calculus 2 in college. I also found that domain identification, which is how closely you associate yourselves with the domain of mathematics, essentially. Someone like me who's high domain identified, I'll say that mathematics is my favorite subject, and that I love it. People such as those and other females are actually more negatively impacted by the effect of stereotype threats because they're identified with their domain. An interesting point that I found which really solidified my reasoning behind studying stereotype threats was that stereotype threats actually work at a deeper level of cognition. They work and influence the processes that work in your brain in order to give you a certain idea and attitude about the stereotype, therefore negatively impacting your performance. But what is a stereotype threat? According to Steele and Aronson in 1995, who were those who theorized the stereotype threat theory, stereotype threat is being at risk of confirming as a self-characteristic a negative aspect about one's group. What does this mean? Basically, with the stereotype threat about mathematics, that females underperform as compared to males, females will be negatively impacted by the stereotype threat because they have a negative characteristic in the stereotype. All this research led me to my research problem, and there are two parts to it. The first question asks, what are the effects of stereotype threats on females in lower and higher levels of mathematics? The second part tests the domain identification and asks, is the effects of those stereotype threats related to attitudes regarding mathematics proficiency? My hypothesis. As there were two parts to my research question, I had two parts